Hey everyone, so I'm a bit late to talking about this, I was about to say album, but this mixtape that recently came out by the one and only J. Cole, who self-proclaimed himself a part of the Big Three. And if you haven't been paying attention, I believe it was last month, Future and Metro Boomin released their album "We Don't Trust You," and it had a song like that, which featured a surprise verse by the one and only Kendrick Lamar, another member of the so-called Big Three, who basically, in his own words, said, "Fuck the Big Three, it's just Big Me," and with a lot of other lines on there, dissing both Drake and J. Cole. And surprisingly, I was not expecting J. Cole to be the first one to respond out of Drake and J. Cole. So this was already surprising, and there was no mention of this mixtape being released. This is a surprise mixtape, the fourth one released by J. Cole, and it's bad. I can't pretend it. It's just awful. And I'm not a person who really likes J. Cole's music. I don't really listen to it. I don't hate it, but it's not for me. But this is just another level of it where at least with like Forest Hill Drive, I understand the appeal and why people like it. So I understood that. But listening to this mixtape, which is called Might Delete Later, which I just think is an awful name. It's almost as bad as the last one I reviewed, Genre Sad Boy by MGK. Now, you should never be compared to MGK if you were a so-called member of the Big Three. But this mixtape is just awful, and this is more of even just a rant, if I'm being honest, as it's just awful from these freaking YouTube type beats on there where I'm like, dude, you have better production, you have money, you can get people that can make you better beats than this. You have better like lyrics that you've had in other songs here. And just speaking of lyrics, we're gonna have to talk about the song Pi, I believe that's what it's called, just PI, which features a transphobic line on there that, for someone who claims to be a very conscious rapper, or conscious rapper in general, this line kind of is like a black eye on that whole thing. I'm going to read it just so that way it is known what is said on there. This is literally just his verse, or what he says in it. I'm seeing hints of a trans fella. In cancel culture, he's no killer, trust me. Beneath his chosen identity, there's a pussy, period. So, not really a good thing to be saying in this day and age, just to anyone in general. It's just not good, especially if your entire genre of music is rap, which is very inclusive of these different types of people, especially in the conscious rap scene. And just an unnecessary line, in my opinion, just in general, just very weird line, not too good. Even if it wasn't a transphobic line, it's just not good. Horrible. The one good thing I can say from just the entire album in general is it does feature a really good Ab-Soul verse. Not on this song, but I do love Ab-Soul, so I'm sad that he has to be on this mixtape, but he at least brings slight value to this absolute garbage. But for the last thing I wanted to talk about on this was the ending song, the one that was making the rounds, 7 Minute Drill, which is the response to diss track to Kendrick Lamar, if you want to call it a diss track. Now, when I said YouTube type beats, this one takes the cake for that, as this is probably one of the most forgetful beats I think I've heard this year. I was talking shit on the MGK EP. This is even worse. I remember some of the MGK just beats on that one, but this is just awful. It's horrible. The lines on there are childish and the opposite of how everyone was reacting to Kendrick's line on Like That. Like, I was seeing YouTube videos breaking down every small, minute detail of Kendrick's bar. I'm not saying that he needed to go to that exact same level, just because that's not really something J. Cole's really done. But you didn't have to go the exact opposite, with basically his own words saying, "You're short," which, I mean, we all know Kendrick Lamar. He's one of the short kings. I believe he's 5'6". doesn't matter. This motherfucker is a short king, absolute Chad. Does not matter. So that's always a weird insult to throw out there, just because like I don't think they care. It's probably been said several times already. And then he says that TPAB or To Pimp a Butterfly was boring, which, no offense to the J. Cole fans and J. Cole, I don't think you're in a position to be calling any other rapper boring, let alone Kendrick Lamar on the album TPAB, which is one of the most just like beautifully made, like produced, lyrically performed rap albums of the 2000s, or 2010s of all time even. It is amazing, and it deserves all the praise that is given, and has an energy about it that's unreal, tackles all of these like concepts on it that J. Cole wishes he could talk about, and it's kind of embarrassing that's the insult he decides to say, is that it's boring, and just that Kendrick is boring in general, because, no offense, I don't want to hear it from the guy who will rap about folding laundry. I don't want to hear it. Like, you don't have the room to be talking. But no, this is just a horrible mixtape. Might delete later. Doesn't matter if he does delete it. This will be remembered. And honestly, I think this takes off pressure for Drake to be like, oh man, I have to respond good. Like, no man, you just gotta respond better than J. Cole does. Because as long as you do even slightly better than J. Cole, oh my god, that's at least a win. You know what I'm saying? I thought Drake was bad. J. Cole, what the fuck was this? I'm giving it a 1 to be the most generous I can be. A 0 to a 1 is what I'm rating it. This was awful. Bye.